Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That's the last we ever saw John. It just eats him.
Hello. We're Cinema Rebooted. We've purchased the house on Haunted Hill in order to do a review. A Halloween movie review. We're so amusing. So anyway, House on Haunted Hill. Welcome back to Cinema Rebooted. I am a dork alongside my co-host DJ and Noah, as always. We are once again watching House on Haunted Hill. This is actually the highest reviewed movie that we're going to watch on this channel, but because it's Halloween and we need to get into the Halloween spirit, we decided it's time for a cult classic, and maybe not something that we want to gouge our eyes out to. That'd be nice. And amusing.
That would be nice.
So, House on Haunted Hill. Starring for Vincent Price. House on Haunted Hill came out in 1959. It is produced and directed by William Castle. And William Castle in the 1950s was actually known as kind of the gimmick man. His whole thing was he would make low-budget films, and he would have a gimmick associated with each of his films that would put people in the theater so that he would sell more tickets. In the case of House on Haunted Hill, the gimmick was this new thing that he called immersion, where at the climax of the film, a skeleton would pop out like in the movie theater and go across like a string of wires and stuff and fly around above the audience's head, making them either laugh or scream in terror. Well, that was his gimmick for this movie. He was also known for the Tingler, where he put vibrators in the seats, and they made it a plot point in the movie that if you felt a tingle in your lower spine, the tingler was there, and if you didn't scream, it would kill you. So he would randomly turn on vibrators in the seats to cause people to scream randomly during the film.
Huh.
But that was what he was known for. He was known for these gimmicks. He was known for making B-rated movies. This is not supposed to be taken extremely seriously. It is a scary movie, and there are some things at the time that I'm sure were terrifying. However, it has aged beautifully. So
One word for it.
I'm looking forward to filming this episode. It's going to be fun. Another fun fact, this is also the lowest budgeted movie we've ever seen. It was filmed for $200,000 in 1959, grossing $2.5 million in 1959.
Wow.
And for comparison, that $2 million today, money, $200,000 in 1959 translates to $2 million today. So on $2 million, they made this film. And even by today's money standards, they would have still turned a profit of $500,000 in 1959 money. But
It's impressive.
it is a fairly impressive film. It's definitely a cult classic. A lot of people like watching this film around this time of year. Plenty of people have seen it. We are watching the special edition 2005 release of House on Haunted Hill in color because we're high class. So
Fancy.
very fancy indeed. So I have seen this film about 2 years ago, but I don't think either one of you have seen House on Haunted Hill.
I have seen parts of it. It's been a very long time. One of those films that used to pop up on late night TV, and you'd watch stuff that your parents were watching, kind of a thing. But I doubt I remember enough for it to matter.
I have never seen it, never heard of it, never cared to hear of it, don't care about it, and that's going to be great. I just think it's going to be spooky, haunting.
I know nothing
house-like,
about this film.
And possibly
I hate it already.
on a hill. That's what I got for you.
All right. Cool.
Nuggets of
I
wisdom.
just want to ask, who decided to build a house on a haunted hill? This hill is haunted. This is the perfect place to put a house.
Is
Right
that a ghost?
here.
We are putting a house right here!
They can clean it for us.
Look
Oh,
at
they're
that ghost.
killing everyone.
Look at that zombie
What have we
eating
done?
that guy. Dude, that's dope. I'm going to put a house there.
Gosh. All right, John, take it away.
All right, so without further ado, here is House on Haunted Hill.
Oh, not that far.
Nice, creepy.
Man, the orgy's weird this year.
Well, Frank's still enjoying himself.
I'm okay. Bro, he's got the best seat in the house.
The ghosts are moving tonight, restless, hungry. May I introduce myself? I'm once
My orgy comment that comes out way worse with what he just
In just a
said.
minute, I'll show you the only really haunted house in the world. Since it was built a century ago, 7 people, including my brother, have been murdered in it. Since then, I've owned the house. I've only spent one night there, and when they found me in the morning, I was almost dead.
Those spirits do some freaky stuff. Main man,
Ghost Files.
And I've rented the house on Haunted Hill tonight so that my wife can give a party. A haunted house party. She's so amusing. There'll be food and drink and
She's
ghosts,
so amusing.
and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited. If any of you will spend the next 12 hours in this house, I'll give you each $10,000. Or your next of kin in case you don't survive. Ah, but here come our other guests.
So,
It was my wife.
you die in the first 5 minutes, you still get $10,000 to your family? Alright, cool. I'll go.
that's the eccentric billionaire.
A sense of humor,
Right.
shall we say.
You will die. But your family will still get money, so who cares, right? It'll be fun.
But after a night in the house on Haunted Hill, who knows? This is Lance Schroeder, a test pilot, so no doubt a brave man. But don't you think you can be much braver if you're
Brave or
ready for it?
stupid?
And I happen to know that Lance needs the 10,000 I'll give him, if he's brave enough to stay all night. This is Ruth Bridges. You've no doubt read her column in the newspapers.
Of course.
She says her
I
reason
read
for
the
coming to
newspaper.
the party is to write a feature article on ghosts.
She's my favorite.
She's also desperate for money. Gambles. You've already
They're all
met
gambles,
Watson
aren't they?
Pritchard, a man living in mortal fear of a house, and yet he is risking his life to spend another night here. I wonder why. He says for money. This is Dr. David Trent, a psychiatrist. He claims that my ghost will help his work on hysteria. But don't you see a little touch of greed there? Around the mouth and eyes?
Yes, greed is written. It's like a tattoo on his
I
face.
can tell from the thousands of people who work for
Honestly, I think it's just the money sign from his
more
forehead.
than most. Supports her whole family. Isn't she pretty?
That's it? They all get these backstories and she's like, oh,
You
she's
have
hot.
until 2005
No, he said that she was one of like the 10,000 people that worked for him or something.
Yeah, she just wanted people to work for him, so she took them out. Apparently she provides for her whole family, but most importantly, she's hot.
Actually, she's pretty.
She's not fat.
So this is actually a real house. It was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
He's the one who built it on a graveyard, that psychopath.
No, but here's the thing: the outside of the house does not match the inside of the house at all.
Is that because the inside is a set, or is it because the inside is different?
The inside's a set.
Oh.
You can kind of tell. I don't even know why they chose this house to do an intro.
Why should cook?
I'm gonna say everybody's white, but I think that's just because they were the only ones dumb enough to go to this house.
You can really tell this is in color. black and white.
Oh,
Thanks a lot, 2005. You've aged horribly.
Where's the camera go?
look at that guy.
There's nothing over there.
It's a guy. He's a portrait.
That's a nice view. Jump, 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 jump.
You have nothing left to live for.
The ghosts! I'm hearing them! They're telling me to jump!
Oh, those have never let me down before. Ah! Nobody likes the
You
man.
guys lost her.
So, guys, where's the front door? Is that the first trick? Have the ghosts hit in the door! Let me in!
Hey, we found our way inside.
Hey, self-opening doors. Man, technology is really growing.
What's the goo?
Well, where is everybody?
In a very warm
He says in the room full of everybody that's going to the party.
Fine, we're here.
He doesn't know.
Are we all strangers to each other? Don't you two know each other?
I'm afraid I don't even know your name.
I'm Nora Manning.
Lance Schroeder.
I smell a romantic couple coming on.
I've heard of him, but I've never met him.
I work for one of his companies, but I've never seen him. I've never met the man either. Just a phone call. Do you know him?
No.
Well, then you're the only one of us who does.
I don't know him. All the details about renting the house were done by mail.
He's quite wealthy, isn't he?
Millions.
And, fine, why?
Is he the one that owns the house,
All I
right?
think so far.
I think it was renting it.
$50,000 party for only 5
No,
people is a little
the
scheme.
eccentric guy is renting it. That's the guy
Yeah,
whose
that's the
brother
guy
died
who
there.
owns the house.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm gonna haunt anybody, this would certainly be the house I'd do it in.
Who closed the door?
The ghost, and he's really loud and obnoxious. He needs to be quieter. Look, you almost broke the chandelier.
This thing's made of solid steel.
That almost fell right next to you, but not
I
on top
know,
of
right?
you.
I saved your life, dude. It was like 5 feet away from me. He's like, I have booby trapped the living crap out of this place. They're gonna think it's so haunted.
And, our guests are here, unfortunately still alive. Is your face on yet?
Dust and dirt everywhere, and the water barely trickles. Couldn't you have the place clean?
Atmosphere, darling, you know how ghosts are, they never tidy up. And that's a very fetching outfit, but hardly suitable for a party.
I'm not going to the party.
The spend the night ghost party was your idea, remember? Since it's gonna cost me $50,000, I want you to have fun.
The party was my idea until you invited all the guests. Why all these strangers run out of our friends?
Friends? Do we have any friends?
No, your jealousy took care of that.
I had a reason for inviting each guest. I wanted kind of a cross-section. From psychiatrist to typist, and from drunk to jet pilot. They share one thing, they all need money. Now let's see if they're brave enough to earn it.
And you call this a party?
Could be.
Why do you always do that? It spoils the champagne.
It might explode.
Never does.
Will you guarantee that?
That isn't funny, Frederick.
Make a good headline. Playboy kills wife with champagne cork. Will you join me?
No, thank you.
Just a sip might improve your humor.
My humor is fine, thanks. And I haven't poisoned it.
It's always good to know that. Have some. You'll enjoy the party more. Come on.
I did poison it.
Get drunk.
Ta-da! Nap time.
Using nap time.
And
Your
that's
trust is so touching. And I'm not going to the party.
Of all my wives, you're the least agreeable.
But still alive.
Would you go away for $1 million in tax-free? You want it all, don't you?
I deserve it all. If jealousy isn't tax-free, your possessiveness is maddening.
If ever a man had grounds for divorce,
I can't prove them.
the time will come. You'll slip up one of these days,
Think so?
if I live long enough. You remember the fun we had when you poisoned me?
Something you ate, the doctor said.
Yes, arsenic on the rocks. Annabelle, you'd do it again if you thought you could get away with it, wouldn't you?
Darling, what makes you think that?
Something
it didn't
about
work the last time. You're like Rasputin. It's impossible to kill you with
I
poison.
think that hanging is very uncomfortable, in case you get any more ideas. Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you, darling.
Darling, the only ghoul in the house is you.
And don't sit up all night thinking of ways to get rid of me. It makes wrinkles.
And I like my dogs perfect.
Well, they're the most interesting people in the house.
I know, right?
I have Chitty Chitty Bang Bang vibes. Like,
What the?
This is what she used on my brother and her sister. Hacked them to pieces. We found parts of the bodies all over the house, in places you wouldn't think. The funny thing is the heads have never been found. Hands and feet and things like that. But no heads.
The wife, probably in a rage, threatened the husband with a knife and then, carried away by hysteria, took a swing at him and simply went on from there.
She certainly went on. How many people did she kill, Mr. Pritchard?
Only two. Her husband and her sister. No one else was here.
So there are two loose heads.
But the murder weapon is still here in this couch.
You can hear them at night. They whisper to each other and then cry.
Since our host isn't here, would anyone care to mix me a drink?
Certainly. What will you have?
Good evening. I'm your host, Frederick Lauren. Since we're all strangers to each other, let's get acquainted with a drink, shall we?
Mr. Lauren, I advise you to call this party off now. The ghosts are already moving and that's a bad sign.
He's
Let me apologize
saying
for my
brandishing a
wife's
murder
reference.
weapon.
I know, he's like, he just ignores the fact that he's just holding a knife.
Now, before the party begins, let's go over the details. The caretakers will leave at midnight, locking us in here until they come back in the morning. Once the door is locked, there's no way out. The windows have bars that a jail would be proud of, and the only door to the outside locks like a vault. There's no electricity, no phone, no one within miles, so no way to call for help.
Like a coffin.
Or mausoleum.
So if any of you
Or
decide not to stay
a
for the
vault.
party, you must let me know before midnight. Of course, if you leave, I
Something less,
not be able to pay
you know,
anything.
Morbid.
I'm
ultimate.
interested in your reasons for this, party. Aside from pleasant company.
Ghosts, Doctor. I think everyone wonders what they would do if they saw a ghost.
I already know what I do. I grab my pants. That's what that guy just said with his eyes.
Ghosts
Here's what I do.
Being only created.
if you could have touched me, you'd have done it a long time ago, sucker. Wish you could have do it now, right before he
Can't
stabbed
stop
me.
me. Can't stop me. Oh, he stabbed me.
Maybe more before morning.
If you could have touched me, you would have already. Wait.
4 men.
Don't get ideas close. I heard the moaning. I know what you're doing to the other spirits.
JK, that was a joke. I was just kidding.
Please don't, please no, your hands are cold.
Stranger!
Stranger danger!
Let's see what happens.
This is not consensual. You will hear from my manager.
Where'd I put that whistle?
See that stain? Blood. A young girl was killed here. And whatever got her wasn't human. Don't stand there.
What do you mean? Where?
It inked you.
It's too late. They've marked you.
Ridiculous. The roof probably leaks.
Oh, that must be what it is. Who would want to haunt me?
I would say any self-respecting male ghost.
I hope it doesn't happen.
Well, Mr. Pritchard, you're the life of the party.
It hasn't even started yet. Wasn't there a man who threw his wife into a wine vat or something?
That was in the cellar. There's been a murder almost every place in this house.
And then they all just walk underneath the spot with the cabinets. Do they go and mark one person at a time?
They do what they want.
That's true, I suppose. But he knew that somebody would get
All
marked.
this belonged to a Mr. Norton, who didn't die here. He was electrocuted later.
Mr. Norton did a good deal of experimenting with wine. But his wife didn't think it was any good.
So he filled the vat with acid and threw her in. She was supposed to stay down. But the bones came up. It's a funny thing. But none of the murders here were just ordinary. Just shooting, or stabbing. They've all been sort of wild, violent, and different. Look out!
Oh, I'm so sorry. My airhead got the
You mean there's
best.
still acid in there?
There's still liquid in there, so it's fine. It's hard to tell, you know? Can't say for sure.
Destroys everything with hair and flesh. Just leaves the bones.
He's like, I realize I have made a mistake.
Well, there goes my plan for a nice dip.
My, it's dry and dusty down here.
Sounds like it. Well, let's do it, man.
A cure for that.
Forbidden hot tub. Forbidden hot tub. He chose her. Was she gonna jump in?
Now that we're alone.
How'd you get
How
invited
you
to this
doing?
party?
No. It's easier to rape you with the door
I mean,
closed.
what are you gonna do?
God.
Mr. Lawrence said everybody would get $10,000.
But he didn't say anything about being locked in.
No.
He just made a deal with me on the phone, but nothing about having to stay.
Aren't you going to stay?
If I don't, I
With
lose
you, baby?
$10,000.
Of course.
I'm going to stay too. $10,000.
Yeah. You believe in ghosts?
I don't know.
Well, I agree with what that doc says. You can spook yourself. I've done it in planes. Seen things that weren't really there. Or were they? What are you gonna do with your 10,000? If we get it.
We?
What do you mean?
Well, where are we now?
Won't he pay us if we stay?
Ah, sure he will. 10,000 is no more to him than a nickel is to us.
We were in an automobile accident. Now I'm the only one in the family who can make any money.
Boy, I've never seen so many doors.
Run. There's so many red flags from this guy.
Closet.
Run.
Closet, no bed. Come on, there's gotta be a spare bedroom down here for some jolly good fun with the secretary. Wine bars.
Still no bed.
Maybe later.
Why are you still following this guy? He locked you in the basement.
Right? And then stopped you from leaving.
Because he's handsome.
A dark room. There could be a bed in
Go
here.
anywhere?
I don't care how handsome a dude is. You don't freaking follow him into a dungeon.
Lance, stop joking with me.
You've seen this movie, Shades of Grey, right?
Oh, dang.
I wonder what's gonna happen.
Is it that kind of dungeon?
There's not.
Roll for initiative. The Lich emerges. Roll for initiative.
Spooky, scary skeletons. Mom? I thought you died in the car accident. No, wait, Mom!
Ghost comes up to her. Smack! Ow!
I told you should have gotten your driver's license.
If you were driving, maybe we wouldn't have died.
Please, Lance is gone, and there's a ghost. Please,
honey?
please, come on.
Did she say Lance is gone? Gone where?
Now you're holding another man's hand. Man, you were just everywhere, man.
She's the most popular person at the party.
We'll have to bring it down and stop.
Oh no, it's a pole. I tried to push it before. I hope Lance is okay.
He's cool.
Well, I'm usually the one that knocks my date out.
Money won't cure. I must have bumped my head. The only way you could bump your head in here is to run head on into the wall.
He is that dumb, he probably did it.
You didn't do that, did you?
Maybe.
Let's get a bandage on.
He doesn't answer because he knows I was stupid.
It's like, gosh dang, I did it
Why is
again.
this
This is the
hesitant?
third wall I've run into this week.
I just like to go fast.
Like a bull, I see red and I can't stop.
They hit him.
Yeah, the ghosts. Guys, I'm gonna keep telling you.
Literally, that's all he talks about. Who do you think they are?
Right?
He clearly doesn't have any friends. Oh yeah, Greg. Greg hit him in the head.
Oh yeah, who's Greg? He's the ghost, you idiot!
I named him because we're friends. I don't talk to anybody else.
When you came in, you said something about a ghost.
There was something.
Why is he Q-tipping him off?
Well, it was wearing a black thing that went all the way to the floor.
It's called a
Were you
dress.
a little frightened at the time?
Well, yes.
That, Mr. Lauren, is hysteria.
Well then, Doctor, how do you explain what happened to Lance? Was that hysteria too?
No, that's just sheer stupidity.
You better get that chick.
That was hysterical.
Acting. Oh, I fell. Or a ghost hit me. Woe is me.
Wait for me in the hall.
Wait for me in the hall.
Last time we were
we'll get
alone
back to
together
this.
did not work out well.
He keeps trying to separate her. He's trying to get something.
You really believe in your pet ghost, don't you, Pritchard?
That guy is very rapey. I do not like him.
Would you like a drink, Lance? No thanks.
I'd like one. Scotch and.
Scotch and what?
It's open-ended. Scotch and whatever else you can think of.
Lord,
won't need
are
those
you
for
really
me.
good feeling when you stayed all night?
What's he going to do with those candlesticks?
$10,000.
This guy's a creep.
Much ready for delay?
In a hurry, dear?
Frankly, yes. Or frantically.
There you are, my dear.
Spits it out. I meant a Scotch and Coke.
What is it,
Typical
Scotch and
dude.
Pepsi? That's sick.
I'm going to investigate this wall I ran into. I think it's closer than I thought.
You don't like them?
Someone or something was in here when I came in.
Yeah, a wall. Who are you trying to
The
convince?
door was locked. How did it get out? What you saw might have been a ghost, Nora, but what was in here with me was no ghost.
I don't know. I was so scared.
Don't worry, come closer to me. I'll make you less scared.
Maybe there's like a secret chamber to like a secret love chamber.
That is hollow.
Does it sound different to you?
Yes.
Is there a convenient sledgehammer out there?
3, 6, 9, 12. 12 feet.
Well, you haven't gone in that room, so
3, 6. I'm gonna knock on the other wall. When you hear it, you knock on this wall.
yep. Leave her in the room all by herself. How did he get there so fast?
Jack, lower down.
Have you seen my dentures? Gerald!
I'm just trying to say hi.
I saw it again.
Hysteria.
Where did it come from?
From in
Where
here.
did it go? Where did it come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Well, if it ran out of here, I'd have seen it.
Lance, it doesn't run, it just floats.
Yeah, but why didn't I see it?
Because you hit your head pretty hard. You're probably blind in one eye.
How can I? I hope it gets you, sir. These people are not closing doors.
He's behind her. It's his job.
I'm Annabelle Loden.
I like to sit in corners. It makes me feel safe.
You were seeing Miss Manning. I realize this is a very unusual and I'm afraid very dull party. Wouldn't you like to freshen up?
She's saying your makeup's bad, lady.
You look hideous. Would you like to look better?
That's what I heard.
This is
Here, let me
your room.
lead you into another room.
Depressing, isn't it?
She's definitely a follower, isn't she?
She's
Going to bed?
100%.
she's going to get assaulted. One of these times she's going to follow something into a room.
Why did you come here?
He said he'd give me $10,000.
Why did he pick you?
I don't know. My supervisor just came and said I'd been invited.
How long have you known Ramsey?
I just met him tonight.
So, why you?
Are you gonna be his next wife? Do I need to kill you too?
Are you wife number 5?
What were you doing wandering around by yourself?
Well, I was in the cellar with Lance, Mr. Schroeder. I just left, that's all.
Don't do it again. Don't go anywhere in this house by yourself. Now fix your face and I'll come down for you in a few minutes.
But
She literally just said, go fix your face.
We all are.
who?
I hope for your sake you never find her.
We all are in danger? What?
She has a sixth sense.
Whoa, another babe. How'd you like to go to the cellar with me? We can discover some secret holes. In the walls. In the walls.
Are you looking for something?
Not exactly.
Are you the doctor?
No, I'm not Schroeder.
The pilot? You hurt yourself.
Oh, it's just a bump on the head. Which is my room?
I believe this is it.
She literally just picked a random room. She's just like, he's creepy.
Which room am I next to? This one? Ah, this is it.
Oh, wait, no, this is the bathroom.
Wait. Now he's the victim and she's the stalker. The twist. You get what you deserve.
Oh, she sat down on the bed. She's the
Who was the
seductress.
young girl in the cellar? Why was she so upset?
Was she?
And you don't look like the type to go around bumping his head. What really happened, Lance?
Well, Nora thought she saw a ghost, but I didn't see anything.
She was just frightened.
And mad at me, I think. I kidded her about it.
I wouldn't joke about anything else that happened here tonight.
Jeez, what a, like a buzzkill. Never go alone ever again. Don't make any jokes here. This is supposed to be a lively party. I want you all so depressed that you hurt yourself.
I want excitement. Excitement to me means all of you suffer.
I'm a sadist. That's why I hired all these ghosts
Look,
to
what's
beat you
going on here
guys.
anyway? I mean, what is with this party bit?
This is no party. He's planning something.
Your husband?
I wish I knew what it was.
Must be pretty big if he's going to lay out $50,000.
Money doesn't mean anything. He has a reason for getting us all up here to this dreadful old house.
What for? He doesn't even know us.
Maybe that's exactly why you're here.
You're all a bunch of strangers that desperately need money and could possibly disappear because of the mob.
You know, of course, that I'm his
Perfect
fault.
murder victims.
The first symptom disappeared. The other two died. Lance, I don't want to join him.
You mean he,
Oh, his doctor said they died of heart attacks. 2 girls in their 20s.
Well, what can he do?
My husband is sometimes insane, which I say nothing matters to him then. Please be careful.
Will he hurt you?
That's what I'm implying,
He'd
yes.
kill me if he could.
Just sowing my seeds of deceit. Yeah, I'm the secret mastermind.
Ooh, another person.
No, that's a ghost.
It's actually her who killed his other wives so that she could be in there.
I believe
And that you're missing all the fun. Nora Manning was almost killed by a falling chandelier. The pilot bashed his head in.
Is he badly hurt?
The Saturday psychiatrist bandaged him up. Don't you want to go and console him? As you do most men in your fashion.
You're so clever, Frederick.
As I lie awake nights wondering why I married you. It was rather a mistake.
You didn't marry me, dear. I married you. Unpleasant, but no mistake.
Hurry up.
Frederick, for the last time, I'm not going to your party.
For the last time, it's not my party, but yours. And you are going.
I am not.
Ready?
No.
Are you ready, dear?
Frederick, I only like this in the bedroom. Wait,
What you adore me as
in
much
our bedroom?
All you want to be is a lovely widow.
It's like the
It's almost time
Is this
to lock up
like-
the house. And then your party will be
kids who are also from the most toxic relationship ever. Turns out this is their foreplay and they're just really twisted people.
Okay. I'll be down in a minute.
Who is it?
Your host, Maggie. It's almost midnight, Nora. We're all going to get together down in the living room.
All right, Mr. Lorne. I'll be right again.
I had to fix my face apparently.
Your wife said I had to fix my face.
Apparently I'm a hideous creature.
She clearly did nothing to her face. That's the face she needs to fix. It looks like it came from Paper Mache City.
Looks like a Muppet. It killed the whole Muppet, those monsters.
Oh, a curtain.
It seems like it's supposed to be there.
She's suddenly fine. I'm not upset anymore. There's a curtain. Everything's fine.
The curtain has been drawn.
Ooh, a wall.
There's a door to your right. Why would you go push on the wall?
Because it could be a secret.
She's trying to wonder how Lance could be dumb enough to run into a wall.
Come with us. Come with us before he kills you.
This girl is literally just getting assaulted by every single member of this house. Next, it's the old lady's going to be like, "Come here, Nora.
Where's Nora?
I want to go into the basement with you."
I don't want to stay here.
Nora, what happened? That's Jonas Slides and his wife. They've been caretakers here for years. She's blind, you know.
I'm not going to stay here.
She's blind, you know, and she also transports herself by Segway.
I think she's just a little upset, not hysterical.
She travels via flotation.
Good evening.
Hello, Maddie. This is my wife. These are our guests. Ruth Bridges, Dr. Trent. You know Watson Pritchard, of course. Nora Manning. And this is Blanche Schroeder.
And this guy, I guess.
That's Schrodinger.
Get me out of here.
Now, what about the 10,000?
I don't care. He wants to kill me.
Who wants to kill you?
Mr. Lawrence.
May I have your
He said
attention,
he.
please?
They did not
I think you
specify
all
person.
remember the bargain we made about staying all night. $10,000 apiece. If any of you don't survive, $50,000 will be divided amongst the rest of you. If I should die,
That smile.
you will be paid by my estate. When the door is locked from the outside by the caretakers, we'll all be forced to stay in this house until morning. If any of you decide not to stay, you must leave with the caretakers now. You won't have a chance to change your minds later, because there'll be no way to get out.
I don't want to stay.
Wait. I can't have relations with you if you're not here.
I am entirely selfish. Oop, it took too long.
Wait.
Wait, I wasn't supposed to
I
stay.
wasn't supposed to say they were supposed to fight to the death!
Midnight yet? Who told them they could leave?
They never leave before midnight.
Now they've gone now. I was going to ask you whether you wanted to stay or not, but it seems that the caretakers have made the decision for you. We're all locked in now.
But I don't want to stay.
I'm sorry, my dear, but it's too late now.
Darling, haven't you had enough of the silly games? Get some cards up here for these people and let them go home. But pay them first.
This is your party. Remember.
And they literally just left. I can't even get out, and there's not a telephone. How convenient.
Until 8 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know how you guys don't understand. Bars on windows, steel, locked doors, like literally nothing we can do here.
I love the little coffins. Those are
This
adorable.
is my wife's idea. I must say, I think it's rather dangerous. I suppose you all know how to use one of these things, but in case you don't, you just press down this lever with your thumb and then pull the trigger. You see, they're loaded.
Why did you give?
That's not really how guns work. Okay.
Doctor?
They gave him the one with one less bullet. That's not fair.
He's the one that's the most likely to kill everyone for the ghosts. I would give him an empty one. You kidding me?
That actually is why there's only one round and it gives him the empty one. You don't get ammunition. Sorry.
I only had one. He was just like, yeah, no, you're a psycho. I did not trust
This
you.
is the kind of party. He's giving out guns to everybody.
Your idea. Who knows, you may want to use it on me before this night is over.
She's like, I would love to.
Puts it right at him.
I agree with Richard on that point, although not for the same reason.
Drinking locked in a house with guns. This is gonna be great.
Don't you approve?
Cheers!
Little party?
Anybody want a shot?
When she was
Oh,
blind
gosh.
for a ghost.
I don't think anyone else is going to walk around in total darkness. Oh, I'm sure we're not going to go running around the house shooting each other, aren't you?
Who knows?
She says, flippantly pointing the gun at every person in the room. Meanwhile, him, I'm just going to soft guns. The ghosts are talking to me, and these spirits are quiet them down.
Waits for his glasses and gun in one hand, like, I got those.
He's like, I'm definitely not gonna shoot you, okay?
Would you all like to see one of those heads? Well, just follow me.
Okay.
Oh, you took way too long now. It's not gonna be there anymore now. You should have taken it with you.
So I had to just pick it up.
Darling, I really don't need this.
We want to kill you in another way. Guns are so boring. I want it to be more intimate.
I want my murder to be more personal.
Just go look in my suitcase. Just go look.
Yeah, get the crazy guy to do it.
Just go look in my suitcase.
Man's already drunk. Look at him. Oh, it's the lady's undergarments. How embarrassing.
Well, it was in there. A woman's head.
Nora, I think you're a little upset. Would you care for a sedative?
Get out! Get out!
I think you're a little upset. Would you like drugs?
You seem unwell. Want to get doped? We can do it together. It'd be fun. We'll see stars.
You want some downers?
I sedative.
I brought them with me.
You suppose she thought she saw?
They're closing in on her.
Look, Doc, I think somebody ought to stay with it.
There could be a million people around her. But if they wanted her, they'd get her.
What if he's right?
He's too drunk to know what he's talking about.
I wonder. I'll join you in a minute.
He's the only one that knows.
Do you think it would do any good if you went in and talked to her?
So, she's clearly bonkers. How about you and me downstairs, abandoned room number 2?
What would you say up here?
His mission is to lay someone in this house. And if all the women are out, he'll probably go for the guys next.
What about you, doctor?
See, the thing
I'm
is,
getting desperate.
I'm a
Ghosts! Ghosts!
I just want someone to touch me.
See, I'm a
Feel
test
something
pilot by
anyway.
day, but a plumber by night. I'm gonna lay some pipe down. So bad about you.
Nor in frightening women. In Nora's case, it's gone far enough. Perhaps too far.
What do you suggest we do about it, Doctor?
I say we kill
Don't
him.
frighten her anymore.
He's like that's gonna happen, man. My job is to freak y'all out.
That house is enormous.
It's like a castle.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, are we
Oh my
sharing
gosh, can
walls?
somebody stop that ringing noise? Where is it coming from?
Nora, are you calmed down enough? No.
Nora?
You fool, you left the door unlocked.
Nora?
No screaming? It's lame. Ah!
He's too dumb to realize what he's looking
I
at.
know, right?
Nora!
He's found the head! Nora, you're not crazy!
Just carrying it around casually. Whoa! It's my ex-wife.
What do you know about this?
They've taken her. In a little while, she'll be one of them.
Where's Nora?
Where is she? It's too late. It's too late. You'll never find her again.
Richard, if you know where she is, you better tell me now.
She's gone. She's gone with him. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, don't forget the head. People just leaving their heads lying around. Wow, she's got some dirty feet.
Why'd you just stand there and look? She could have still been alive, but you just left her.
She's just like squirming and he's like, what do I do? I feel like I should do something. Why am I liking this?
Oh gosh.
Usually, I'm the one getting choked. It's interesting watching.
One down, 6 to go.
Nora? She's dead, Mr. Lauren. Your wife hanged herself.
suicide.
How? She hung herself. It's running down there's no way!
She tied it down.
Genius! It's a suicide! What?
Looks how far away she is.
This
Looks
is
how far she jumped from. Suicide. Master detective.
How did she die? 45 shots in the back of the head.
that's the clearest case of suicide I've ever seen. Rope. She's clearly allergic to it. I can't believe I hanged her.
He grabbed me and choked me and put me in that room. And then he went away and left me.
Who?
He thought I was dead.
Who?
Mr. Lord.
Are you sure about this?
I don't know what it was.
It's in my hair.
Must have been him.
Has anybody seen you since he left you?
I heard some people in that room, but I went by and nobody saw.
It's
Lauren is dead.
She's killing.
But how?
The Secretary of Death.
Lauren said she committed suicide, but I think somebody killed her.
Him.
I think somebody killed her. Yeah, because literally everything points to that. Even the idiot figured it out.
But
I don't have to
Master
wet my
Detective-
head any harder to figure this mystery out. It's convenient that their rooms are connected.
Don't leave her in there. That's how she dies. Or you.
I'm sure you've come to the same conclusion I have.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's all have a meeting, discuss what to do. The living room?
Okay, in a minute.
The room? No, I was thinking.
I'm sure you came to the same conclusion I have, right?
Yeah, suicide.
Yeah.
Master detectives. The duo.
I'm sure you've come to the same conclusion I have. Yes, we're getting paid $10,000 to sell our bodies.
Just like
to Mr.
hanging
Lauren.
from a chandelier 45 feet in the air. Suicide.
She has like 18 gunshot wounds. And like from behind and like suicide.
If you have to, you use it.
No, thank you. I don't like guns. I'm a vegetarian. You just hear bang as she shot herself.
You know she's gonna use it on you, right? Creeper. I had to come into my life. Now I can bag me the pilot, but I've always wanted.
That hot bud.
Maybe 1959, but only the ghosts are watching this movie. He's going in there to steal his underwear.
So beautiful. So greedy. So cold.
How the heck did you get in there?
What are you doing in here?
Wait, don't wait.
What do you mean coming in here?
I didn't want them to take her away.
Drunk.
They won't get a watcher.
You're drunk. All right, out with it, Bridget. Why did you come into this room?
I'm the only one who understands.
Understands what?
Your wife isn't there anymore. She's already joined them.
Bridget, I've had enough of your spook talk. Get out, you sot, and don't come back into this room again.
You're so much prettier when you're not talking. And she'll never talk again. You sick son of a...
So guys, you here for the orgy? Let's get it on.
Y'all wanna Probably a strip murder.
What's her name?
Murder.
Nora.
I didn't disturb her since I don't think this concerns her.
No, you're right.
Mr. Lauren.
Lance literally is like trying to hide that she's still alive, but the doctor's just like, I just figured I wouldn't disturb. She's there, just sitting in her room, where she was with Lance, and they were talking quite loudly.
You gotta stay.
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Bridget. But I am afraid.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
When we came here a few hours ago, the only thing we had in common was the $10,000 we'd get. Now, however, we share something else. The death of Mrs. Lauren. So far tonight, one of us was almost killed by a falling chandelier. One of us was mysteriously slugged.
By a
One of us
wall.
has been driven to the brink of absolute hysteria. And one of us is dead.
I like how he said one of us when he literally two of those things described just one person.
And we must stay here for 6 more hours.
6 hours. 6 of us. I don't know.
It's like a murder in an hour.
How will it happen?
Let me ask you a question, Doctor. You were the first one to see my wife there. Did you also see anything that she could have climbed up on and then jumped?
No.
Did any of you?
No, but it was very clearly a suicide.
There was nothing. How then did she get up there so high?
Exactly, Mr. Lauren. How? She couldn't have pulled herself up there. She couldn't have dropped from the ceiling. Do you think your wife killed herself?
No. She was murdered by one of you.
Or you, Mr. Lauren. To deliberately kill someone, you must have a reason.
We were all strangers to your wife. Only you had a motive for murder.
What husband hasn't at some time wanted to kill his wife? What husband hasn't had 1,000 opportunities to do it in such a way so that he'd never be suspected? I'm not such a fool as to hang my wife from a ceiling by a rope.
The fact remains that you, or one of us, murdered Mrs. Lauren. And that's a matter for the police.
So how do we get the police?
That's my point. We can't until morning. What began as a silly party given by an eccentric has now involved us all in murder.
For once, Pritchard may be right. If another murder's in the works, let's stop it now.
Another murder.
Why not? Maybe one of us saw too much.
Why should even a millionaire want to give each of us $10,000 to spend one night in a gloomy old house? To see some ghosts?
Because I like enjoying torturing the Pauls.
You finished trying, and it's a very
Why do you think I booby trapped the class?
I couldn't get the Hunger Games to happen as close as I could get.
Guilty and the rest of us are innocent, okay?
Because I can kill people in the haunted house, but I can't put them in Bermuda anymore.
When I proposed Hunger Games to the city board, they're like, what the heck is wrong with you? Fine, I'll do it in my own house. I'm like, no, that's not what we meant.
And if we all stay in our rooms, we'll be safe. Because the innocent will
Let's
have
see,
no
pay the
reason-
Pauls 10,000 to go to my murder house.
I am
Let's
rich.
go to Bermuda and hunt the most dangerous game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Murder House.
He actually is the guy from Most Dangerous Game 2. This is after that. That wasn't. I'm so bored and so loaded. I need I need a good time. You have no idea how bored and rich I am.
It's so hard to live this rich life. I just have to torture peasants. You know, it's a need. I can't help myself. Ooh, a peasant. Would you like to come to this house?
I'll give you $10,000.
Torturing the paws is like breathing for me.
As long as you don't
eat
get the
sadism
pour on
for
me.
breakfast.
As long as you don't get the paw on it. I don't want to catch the paw.
What's the use of saying goodnight?
Unless it's for meat, then I'll catch the pour all day.
Why are you even going to your rooms? Just sit staring at each other all night.
They like picking you off one at a time.
And good riddance.
Her attitude is so just like, I don't care. Let's just do this thing.
I don't care if I die, my crew's already ruined.
Like, she honestly is like just the most accepting. It's like, whatever, if I die, I die. I'm clipped. I'm done. I don't care.
Good night, Buck.
Doesn't even say goodnight to him. How rude. He is your host, sir.
I hope you die.
Is he going to say goodnight to the door? There's no one else to say goodnight to. Lonely.
I came here with my woman and I'm all alone.
Agony.
Yes.
It's a good thing I stashed those Playboys around. He's just racking the gun 1,000 times, doesn't have any bullets in it.
I keep doing this, maybe one day it'll do something.
Just keeps launching on the floor. Click, 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 click. What? What happened? The bull's just laying on the ground.
Slips on the bullets. Yes, time to write in my tiny notepad. My observations. Captain's log.
You are incredible.
I'm the
You
most
are
handsomest
great.
guy here.
I'm not the idiot. who
Dear
ran into a
diary.
wall.
I like Captain's Log.
Captain's log.
Narcissism is the key.
Dear diary, I'm the most handsomest girl at the party.
Ooh, you slay, queen. You slay.
I'm digging the suit though. I like that color.
Yeah, I've always liked the brown.
Maybe I kill myself tonight? No.
Maybe
To write my
tomorrow.
obituary. Need to write myself after my autobiography.
That's actually what the shrink is doing. He's actually writing his suicide note.
What?
Weird.
Why did they put her in the room with the blood stain?
It wasn't there. It
Yeah,
moved.
there was no blood stain. It was in the hallway.
Do you have blood on your hands? Who did you kill?
It's A positive. I know from its irony taste.
He's actually a vampire.
Nora, it's me,
I
Lance.
figured
I'm
who else could
lonely.
it be when we literally share rooms, idiot?
Okay. They walk out of their rooms and lock themselves in.
Lance, I've been thinking. It was so dark down there. Maybe
It's
it
me.
wasn't
You mean the one I literally have been sharing a room next door to this entire time? Just want to make sure you know it's not a freak ghost thing.
How can you be so sure?
She tried to warn me, asked me to help her. The doc thinks he's going to try and kill one of us. Now there must be a way out of this place, and I'm going to find it and get the police before he does.
I'm going with you.
What if he finds out you're alive?
The doctor already said she was alive.
No, he said that he didn't want to bother her. He never actually knocked on the door and didn't even go to fetch her. So they all assume that she's alive, other than the person who thinks that she should be dead.
I'm going to jump his bed.
The real twist of this movie is they're all trying to kill each other.
They have guns. But who needs guns when you can make this more interesting game like hanging?
But that's the thing, it's like, oh, they always tie it shoeways. Here's guns, make it fun. Why are they hanging? They're supposed to shoot each other, that was the point!
It's like, well, this is obvious murder.
Ah, another wall to run into.
All of them keep trying that wall. Oh, they figured it out.
Huh, it's super dark in there. I'm gonna walk in without any lights.
It's sort of
Whacked on the head
all
again.
by itself.
Rat.
He is a genius.
They even got the weather to cooperate for this thing.
Well, I sure hope Lance gets back soon.
Igor's in the basement. Yes, master. Yes.
Whatever you need, Master.
Got the storm coming.
Don't worry, I
master.
got the acid pit field, Master.
No, just random.
You got the mood lightning, right? Of course, master.
Just random.
And the music, right? It's the piano. Ting, ting.
Randomly after one of the lightning strikes. It's alive!
Huh, that rope's alive. I should just stand here.
Is it a rope? Is it a snake?
Why are
Whatever
you
it is,
letting
it's
this
around my
happen?
legs now. Can't escape.
Why are you letting this happen?
She's not even screaming. She's like, oh, thank goodness I'm dying.
She's not a real ghost. She couldn't go to the bars.
She couldn't even make eye contact with the lady. She was just staring at her blue dress. That's a lovely
My eyes
shade.
are up here.
It's such a lovely shade.
My goodness, I'm insane.
Well, you're lucky she just left.
Oh, now pull out the gun. Nope, the snake rope is out of here. Nope.
Hey, she didn't kill you. You're fine. Turns out her room was actually sacred and safe, and she couldn't die in it.
Featuring the Wolfman. Ah, he didn't shave or wash.
Let's whisper now. That's smart.
You've already given away that you're alive. 'Cause you
Yeah, I know. It's like,
screeched.
what are you gonna do? You just screamed on the top of your lungs, and now it's like.
Maybe she blew out her vocal cords. That's why she's
this
whispering.
goes.
I feel like she was invited because she's like, all right, who in here would react how to ghost? They pop a ghost and she's the only one that like panics. Perfect. Invite her.
His entry test was him just scaring people like boo, oh, or boo. That's not cool. Oh, okay. And he just scared. She just starts screaming. He's like, "You're hired. All right, get this girl a notice. We're bringing her to the party."
With the most hysterical woman in the entire office.
She screams when the printer's jammed.
Printer jams. No! Oh my gosh, it's not that big a deal.
It's an automatic typewriter. Calm down.
The sheet is making paper.
Somebody brought Jello pudding.
Tuna.
Now that's how you greet someone in America.
Certainly not. There's either somebody else in this house or one of us has left his room. Did you hear anything?
One of us has left his room. There's clearly a woman's shriek. I don't think Lance sounds like that.
I mean, he's just trying to be inclusive, all right? By only using male language when there's like half the group is women. Well, to be fair, two of them were. Well, one's
Maybe
dead.
minutes, seconds left of someone's life. Why waste time?
Why waste time? It's easier to get killed off when we separate ourselves.
Now I can search your room, you idiot.
Time to do the sneaky sneak.
Sneak. Sneak.
Now to come up behind him and shoot him.
Sneak.
Some call me sick. I call myself a man of science. Necrophilia is an interesting study of the human body. Quite invasive and brisk.
I love dead bodies.
It's almost over, darling. Every detail was perfect.
Oh, what a great nap.
What's happening?
We've done it. A perfect crime. Beautiful.
Has she killed him?
Not yet, but she will.
Get me out of this hanging harness. What's taking that girl so long? What time is it?
At first, I couldn't get Nora to want to protect herself with a gun. After you appeared at the window, everything began to work just as we had planned. You were wonderful, just the touch that finally drove her into complete hysteria.
It'll be worth all of our planning, darling. Where's Nora now? What's happening?
On her way to the cellar. So scared she'll shoot the first thing that moves.
And Frederick?
On his way to the cellar, too.
David, are you sure none of them will suspect us?
Of what? An hysterical girl accidentally shoots somebody? Who would suspect that we planned it that way, that we drove her to it?
The fact that there's 2 witnesses that saw the woman who's going to claim the insurance check was dead?
Well, they had no idea what they were really doing.
What about Nora? She's not stupid, you know.
Darling, believe me, everything we planned is working perfectly. Nora is sure Frederick murdered you. She thinks Frederick attacked her in the cellar, not me. And now Nora's almost out of her mind with fear. The heads, the music, you're hanging. I tell you, when Frederick walks in there, she'll shoot him.
It's taking too long. David, you ought to be there.
Romance.
When you hear the shot, come down to the cellar.
Okay, just announce that you're alive.
Why would you go back down to the cellar where you were terrified 3 times?
Because
Is it the thrill of the
Lance
hunt?
could be down there. Yeah.
Lance is clearly in abandoned room number 2 waiting for her. He's got like a rose between his teeth. Hey, baby.
Man, I swear she is gonna come in here at some point.
I'm gonna bonk you on the head.
That seems completely normal. She's like, wait. It's me. Every time I look at them, they get dimmer. My eyes. I have magic powers. I am Superman.
She looks at the sun, turns off.
I got the power.
No!
Even when she's responsible for what's happening, she screams. Woman would literally scream at a memo she's typing while she's typing it.
Man, he's fast.
Oh, I see.
Get rid of all the evidence.
How are you supposed to pin the murder on someone else if you throw him in the acid pit?
Right?
Details.
Everyone shows up in acid pit. Him and Annabella also.
The cause of death for the man who
I
fell
don't know
in the
what
acid
happened.
pit?
They all just took a swim in the pool in the basement, but I guess it wasn't water. Oh, he did.
It would be hilarious if one of the other ones walked out. What, you're alive? How did you survive your own hanging?
I faked my death, bro.
I'm not the one you expected to see, am I?
David?
Goliath?
David?
Goliath? Somebody really needs some WD-40.
This seems completely fine. Yes, David, I know you love your elaborate pranks. You're super funny.
You guys thought it was such a good plan to plan a murder in the haunted murder house.
It's
brilliant.
Like, I want to do a party. Oh, okay, cool, honey. Where are we going to do it? At this murder house. Okay, cool, honey. Let's do it there. She's like, yes. Wait, no. Have you missed me?
I barely
killed
lost
him.
some weight.
Don't worry, Nora shot him and I put him in here. Oh, I'm a dick. Won't you join me?
Got it all. Everything I have. Even my life. But you're not going to live to enjoy it. Come with me, murderess. Come with me.
Not a slowly shambling rubber skeleton.
He's tricking you into the house and don't listen to him. He's a tricky, no. Tricky skeleton. Tricky skeleton.
Maybe, like, you can see the wire.
Maybe literally go any... Wow, she's literally a pushover.
That skeleton was a jerk. That contraption looks way too complicated.
What is that? I gotta love bulletproof vests. What was the point of that? Why didn't he just push her?
Good night, Doctor. Good night, Annabelle. The crime you two planned was indeed perfect. Only the victim is alive and the murderers are not. It's a pity you didn't know when you started your game of murder that I was playing too.
There must be some way to get in here.
It's right along here, somewhat.
Lance! I shot Mr. Lorne. He's down in the wine cellar.
Alive?
I don't think so. It's him. He's alive.
Quick, push him in!
You didn't shoot anyone, my dear. I loaded your gun with blanks. I can tell you all now. Trent and my wife were planning to kill me. They failed.
Clearly.
Trent tried to throw me in the vat. My wife stumbled and fell. I'm ready for justice to decide if I'm innocent or guilty.
But what about our money? One of these days, I'm really just going to take a nosedive in this thing. Not today, Temptress. Not
No,
today.
they're not. There'll be more, many more. They're coming for me now. And then they'll come for you.
Alright, so that was House on Haunted Hill. Let's go ahead and we'll do likes, dislikes, and then your overall impression of the film, and then we'll make our big title. So we'll go ahead and I will start to throw things off because it's Halloween and we're spooky and amusing.
Oh, are we now? Alright, I'm ready.
I actually
Alright.
have a friend who used to say that all the time. Whenever something would happen, he goes spooky, and we're like, why?
Oh. Alright, I'm gonna make my pillow fort. Hold me up. Alright.
Alright, so likes, dislikes, likes. I really liked Vincent Price's character, I actually enjoyed most of the stuff that he was in. This is going to kill me.
Strangles.
Next year, things are going to be different.
All right, I
swear.
I got it. It's out. Go.
All right.
Talk before it gets you.
All right, so I actually really enjoyed Vincent Price's character. Just overall, I liked most of the scenes that he was in. I thought that his banter with his wife was at the beginning was actually kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
That was good. That was great.
Where he literally just like, how's this for a headline? Playboy kills his wife with champagne cork. I'm just like, that'd be a great headline, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that banter and stuff like that. The twist was pretty good for this film. The first time I saw it, it was surprising. The things I didn't like, I guess there were just like a couple of things in the film that don't really get explained. Like, how did the wife get outside the window and float there, and how did they move the rope around Nora's feet? You know, stuff like that. And what was the deal with the wolf hand? So I guess just like, my negative is that there just like, seem to be a couple of things that just don't really get explained. You just kind of have to like suspend disbelief and stuff like that. If the house was actually haunted, those things would have made sense, but...
I think the wolf hand was actually him, or at least he kind of made it sound like he was in on that part, so...
Okay.
Not sure, though.
So yeah, that's likes, dislikes. And Noah.
I like the murder mystery. I've always liked the murder mystery themes. You know, it's pretty popular too right now. I think they do. There's a lot of like little murder mystery kits you can do in dinners and stuff. And I always thought that was really fascinating. I love the idea of it. Have the eccentric host bring people together as a murderer. And, so I like that. It was very interesting. I like the idea of it like also possibly being haunted, and then using the haunted tropes to confuse, trick, and in the end murder people, which was fascinating. That, like you said earlier, there was some scenes where it's like that doesn't make sense. So I wonder, you know, and I think it leaves it up a little bit for interpretation of maybe there are parts of it that it could be haunted. I mean, there's that scene where like when the thing opens in the wall and it just closes. Like there's several scenes where that's just things open and close. I'm sure he has the ability to rig it to where it could do that, but why did it take him like because he's the one who opens it from the side when he's in the sliding green wall. He's the one who opens it. So you're telling me he just sat there for like 30 minutes and he's just like just didn't open it, or maybe he couldn't find it, I guess, and the way they started knocking on it, he found it? How did they know he was in that wall?
I think that they found him because he was knocking on it. The drunk guy had to hit the switch.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
Because, yeah, he did mention that he knew that there was a switch.
Okay. Well, there you
And
go.
so he had to find it. He just didn't know exactly where it was.
So, I kind of wanted it to be more haunted, but I do like the idea of it going to like a haunted house and making it haunted and using those haunted tropes. That was really, really cool. Dislikes. I don't know. I liked a lot of it. I'd say dislikes is I wanted it. I did actually want it to be haunted. I think it'd been cool, like a small element, like even at the end, maybe there's like I don't know. I mean, the blood dripping. That was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
I think there were parts of it. Maybe it was haunted, and I think they could have done a few more, like hints and nods, and maybe it doesn't necessarily have to confirm it, but give even more like, yeah, this place is most likely haunted, especially in the beginning with like the lady, the blind caretaker that was floating. I mean, I think it's haunted, and I would have liked more little like themes and things that made it look as though it was haunted.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
All right, DJ?
For me, I really enjoyed the film. Like it was fun. Just honestly, just a good time. Just a silly, fun little mystery horror themed film. The biggest likes really is just the mood, the setting of the mood. The setting of the scenes are really good. They do a really good job of making you believe that the characters believe what's really going on. And even when the twist is done, because they hint heavily that the husband and wife are trying to kill each other, so you know who the bad, like what's kind of going on there. And it was not a surprise at all when it was the wife and then when the guy was survived. Like, I saw it coming. But even seeing it coming, it was still interesting to actually see it how. It's like, it makes me think of shows like Leverage or other shows where you know kind of what they did, but then it goes back and shows how it was done, and it's more interesting than the mystery itself. It's how they pulled it off. Like, oh, she had a hanging harness on, and then but then some stuff isn't explained that we talked about, and that's where my dislikes really go. Is so much of the film is unexplained, which is fine because you can even leave it up to it does make it seem fairly certain that it is actually haunted, like the blood dripping from the ceilings. Like some of these things, they're leaning heavily into, this house is actually haunted, but the haunting is superficial.
Yeah, the ghosts aren't actually attacking.
The ghosts aren't actually hurting anybody. The ghosts drive people to end up dying or killing themselves, or maybe drive people to distrust each other, and they end up doing the killing, and they just keep adding on to the haunting. That's kind of what I got from the film, is that the house is actually haunted, but it's people who do the killing. Mm-hmm. So it's like almost like a psychological experiment in a way. And the reason I have a downside with some of this is that they don't do a good job of clarifying what's haunting and what's not. Like you said with the rope. Yeah. Like the rope's guiding in. I'm like, oh, this is actually a haunting. Oh, she's not actually dead. Ah, that makes sense. But wait. Why? How were they controlling the rope? What were they doing? And the hand that comes in, and then some of the scenes, like with the chandelier dropping, was that a convenient haunting or was somebody controlling it? And then when he comes in with the wheel, it almost breaks it. Like, well, they've been controlling it the entire time, except for that still doesn't really work because. Were they also? There's
a lot of scenes where it's like, I don't know.
Who has control of the house? Like, who has control of this place? Who actually is in command? Are these two like have their own secrets? It's really it confuses the haunting with the people. I kind of wish they'd separated those a little cleaner. Where if she'd have just come up to the window and the rope hadn't twisted, it just her scaring her, but then. The blood dripping, the other things in the hand and stuff, then could have been the haunting part, where you get a clear distinction between them.
Well, yeah,
I don't feel like you got
haunting is more subtle and stuff like that, or even like playing to like.
Well, even if it's not, just keep them. You mix the two scenes where they mix the haunting with the conspiracy, it makes it difficult to tell what's real and what's not anymore. Which I get is the point. Except for it seems forced. It seems it's too on the nose, and it makes it less believable that there's a mix of things. It's like, oh, well, it's all controlled, or it's just kind of confusing because like there's no explanation of the rope. They explain how she survived the hanging. Mm-hmm. They explain how he controls the skeleton. All of the control parts are shown. Except for the control of the rope, and that throws me out of that one part towards the end. Kind of threw me out of it for a minute because I'm like, okay, it's a red herring, but it's a forced red herring. It doesn't feel believable anymore.
It was like the random scene of the old lady, blood's dripping in her hand, and then you just never see her again. And it's like, okay.
Well, that's.
I wish they had played a little bit more into that too. Like maybe instead of it being the old lady, I think they just wanted to involve the old lady more in the story. If it had happened to Nora, that would have been more interesting because she's literally the one that's getting haunted by the house.
Well, I think that was the point, is they had the blood be to her because she's not the one they're after, so it makes it more... She's meant to be the red herring part. The house is actually haunted even though there was a conspiracy. Like, these are two separate events.
Yeah.
Well,
But then the rope thing completely contrasts against that, and so you have two conflicting things.
Well, he obviously had no intention of letting them leave, with the caretakers just disappearing. He obviously, that was his intention. He didn't want any of them to have the option of leaving. So then, well,
well, I guess we can move on then.
Okay. Okay, so I don't know if we've implemented this in any of our other movies, but I think that this movie deserves this treatment. When we're doing our rewriting section, is this a curb stomp, complete rewrite? We gotta just take the general idea from the ground up and rebuild it, or is this more like a Kirk check? Because this one was successful for the time, and to be honest, if we remade it, I think we should take it more of a spin of like, if we had to make a remake of this, what are some things that we would implement? So I say like a Kirk check.
Yeah, I would say Kirk check.
Easily a Kirk
and barely.
Yeah.
Honestly, literally the only two major issues I see in the film is that they can't. There's that jumbled. I'm trying to figure out the right words to say it. The biggest problem is that it doesn't pick its lane well, and it can do both. Like, you can have a conspiracy and a murder house. Like, that's perfectly fine. But there's just two moments where they cross, and it feels forced, and it takes you out of the immersion of the story.
So I think the rewrite's pretty easy. I mean, we separate the haunting. I think we keep it haunted. We make it haunted, but it's not like ghosts are murdering people. It's that ghosts are helping people murder, you know? So we separate the hauntings from the... And you maybe see even more, like in the end, when he does the thing, you could do like a little montage of him manipulating things, like manipulating doors. Like, I think there's movies that have done that where it's like you find out the big bad and it goes back, it's like, and you'll go like into like a flashback and it shows him like, I don't know, blood dripping from the, like I think that maybe it's separate, but anyway, it shows like him opening and closing doors. It shows him giving them like a subtle cue for them to leave, like the caregivers and stuff like that. Something that shows like, okay, he's behind a lot of these, but then it doesn't show him behind everything that happens. And so then you're like, but what about the blood and what about this? And you're like, wait, what? You know, like what about the head and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like the head is like the head.
I think they explained the head. I think
he does.
He was trying to drive Nora to hysteria.
Right.
It says that all the stuff was for her, which means, in my opinion, everything that was for her was part of the conspiracy. But that's where the other woman comes in. The reason she is there is to show the haunting part, because she is having things happen to her that are unrelated to everything else, and that's the blood dripping and the mark. And that's what the guy says, like, you've been marked. And
I think
I feel like the husband and wife were aware that each one was conspiring against the other, so they would just assume that one of them was responsible for it, and neither one would think much of it. So it just, especially when the chandelier is a good tell early in the film. Hey, the chandelier fell, but nobody, and all our guests are here, but nobody's dead yet. You know, like there's these pecks where, especially in the end, when you can see he knew the conspiracy was coming at him, that he was nagging at her, like he was literally poking at her, like giving her hints, almost like, I know what you're up to, I know what you're trying to do, back down. Like he was warning her. And she didn't take the hint, and so it's almost like he didn't want to do what he had to do, but he felt he needed to.
I don't think he wanted to. When he goes and talks to her, I think he might have known that she was. I think he knew that she was lying. That's when he's like, "Why are you being so greedy? Like, why did you have to be so greedy?" It's like, you could have just lived until I died, and then.
Or he also literally says he would have paid her off to go.
Yeah, they're literally like when they're doing their jiving back and forth, he straight up says, "I'll give you $1 million tax free. I'll pay you $1 million and you can just go."
She's like, "No, I want it all."
Yeah.
And that was
it was greed.
She's too greedy. It's like, I know you want me dead. Like, I'll give you the money. If all you really want is the money, you can go. And his jabs make even more sense. Like, they're back and forth when you see the end.
He wanted her to love him.
Yes.
And that's why all the other wives died, because they probably did the exact same things Amble did. They tried to kill him, and he ended up killing them instead.
I literally...
I think he just wanted love. He just wanted to find a wife that actually cared and wanted to love him for him and not his money.
Yeah. I literally think that his oddness and the things that make him seem like, you know, the red flag where it's like he could be a murderous kind of person, I literally think that just ties into the fact he's eccentric.
Yeah.
And he's bitter. He's bitter because he doesn't have... He can't trust anyone around him.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any sense of permanence. Yeah. His first wife just left him, disappeared, and then his other two wives just so happen to die, so everybody suspects that he's up to something.
Right.
And then he gets this fourth wife, and she doesn't actually love him, she wants his money.
She shows up and straight up says, "Give me all your money."
Yeah, so the fact he's just like eccentric, I think.
Well, they mentioned in the beginning that she's already tried to kill him.
Yeah,
she tried to poison him. Yeah, that's actually like
him.
one of the famous lines in the film is, "Remember what fun we had when you poisoned me?"
Right. She's like, whatever, do you?
That was probably when he found out she was trying to kill him the
So,
first
I mean,
time.
I think it's a solid film. Like, really, all we have to do is just maybe throw 10 more minutes into the film, just build
The only thing I would change, honestly, is just removing that rope scene. Like, just have her come to the window,
Yeah.
and maybe even have the rope, like, flutter, but not actually wrap around her. That's it.
How does she get outside? The windows are
That's
blown.
easy. Like, they could have had... There were trapdoors all over the place. There was probably... Of course, there's alternate ways out.
Yeah.
Like,
They probably had a way out that
That's
they
true.
established.
So there you go. So yeah, I give her the rope, and then I
you can leave a lot to conjecture and mystery as long as it's believable.
Yeah.
The showing of trapdoors makes that believable.
Right.
You leave it exactly the same. You take out the rope scene, and then the blood dripping is the one that makes think that's the one outlier. You have one outlier that makes you think, is it actually haunted? The other thing I would do is remove the parts where the old lady just glides across the floor.
Yeah, that was weird.
Because that doesn't make any sense. If she's the caretaker, why is she gliding?
I think they're trying to show from like her perspective. Maybe she is getting crazy. But
So
then they need to make that clear.
Yes.
So
So
you're
yeah,
seeing
like
it from
give it
her.
more
Maybe
weight,
because that's what I thought. Is that
Or put it in the first person, maybe.
like the rope was probably moving? Yeah, because that's just what she's seeing because she's losing.
do it the first person with like the gray border, so that you see it from her point of view. She's freaking out.
And then you can do like it. You know, we go back to the flashbacks when she's alive, and it just shows she doesn't. It's what actually happens instead of what she sees, or something along those lines.
You don't really have to though.
But some way of showing that this is her vision and not actual reality, because she's losing it. She's going crazy. She shot the guy. It's working. She's getting hysterical. But the doctor's a psychiatrist. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to tap into that hysteria. And obviously it worked. And so I think you can dip into
And
that.
one of the things that he used, which was really clever, is reverse psychology. I don't think you're crazy or hysterical.
Yeah.
I think you're just upset. Because he's patronizing her.
Yes.
No, you're upset. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. She almost crazed someone to think she's hysterical, because that would actually give her, oh, maybe I'm just crazy. That actually makes me feel better. He's actually like, I don't believe you, but I'm also not going to encourage it. Almost makes her feel less and
like less validated.
Yes,
like,
less validated.
She feels like she's getting talked down to like a child.
Exactly.
That's actually a good psychological thing. I think
Yes.
a lot of people have used that.
Yeah, so yeah, you talk down to her. Oh, you poor thing. You're not actually hysterical. You're just a little upset. Oh, you poor thing. Yeah, that would make people more hysterical, and that's what his plan was. It's well done. The mix of the haunting and the murder mystery, but still leaving it like the guy who had, oh, my brother and all his family and people were killed in this house, and they're haunting it. Oh, they've marked you. Like, you can tell why certain people were invited. He was invited specifically because
he ramps up the fear
factor. The girl is just super hysterical. She was the perfect mark.
Just the old lady is like, why are you here?
I feel like
the old lady was there to bring credibility to the murder, because she would have been a first-hand witness, and she would have written the article.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then she would have corroborated the story, and it would have been more legitimate.
And the pilot is someone who's like
to console Nora.
Well, he's brave and
brave, and he'll lead Nora to dangerous situations.
The billionaire's the one that invited everybody.
Well, also, who hit the pilot?
The other guy. It did.
No, it didn't. He said that he was choking out her, but he never mentioned anything about the pilot.
Oh.
Yeah, he never said anything about
nobody.
the pilot. I actually think the pilot was just really dumb, and he ran into the room and hit his head.
This is some of the things that I'm okay with, some of that mystery, as long as they don't mix the mystery. Because it could have been a ghost that hit him.
If you just want it to be straight murder mystery, then you have to explain, like, either get rid of the blood in the ceiling or explain it somehow.
And that's why the murder thing works, because there's enough.
So I wonder, if we want to rewrite it, do we want to add the haunted into it, or
like add more?
Well, like if we're making it haunted, or if we're just going straight.
Okay,
I like the mix.
Okay, that's why I'd like to.
If I were doing a rewrite, so this movie is 74 minutes long. I think we add 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So we give ourselves a cushion to add more things in 25
whatever.
minutes. We explain a little bit more of like the test pilot gets hit in the head. I think he got hit in the head because the room he was discovering was the control room for the basement. And he came upon it when the wife was leaving. Because remember, the wife wasn't involved in the party for the longest time. So she was down there, I think, controlling all the different levers and stuff like that were down in the basement. And she hit the test pilot on the head to make her escape up one of the escape hatches. I think that happened. So maybe include something like that where she explains, like, I can't believe I actually had to like hit the test pilot in the head because he's too experimental. Curse my husband for inviting him or something like that.
Well,
where he's literally foiling the plan.
The other thing, that's the thing too, is there is a little bit of confusion of how the right people ended up being there when the husband's the one who sent the invite list. So the husband sends an invite list to random strangers. We all know why he picked the psychiatrist, because he knew he was cheating on with his wife. So he knew that plot was coming. So he knew that. My question, though, is did he play into it, or did his wife pick some of the guests? Because the wife is like, oh, none of our friends.
She told him you picked all the guests. She specifically says that he picked all the
Correct.
guests.
But
so he had to have known exactly what their plan was.
Which also means she should have known he knew, because why invite the one that she needs him to invite? I wonder if she made suggestions and then he picked out of a list or something.
I think that what probably happened is the doctor, if I remember right, the doctor and Nora never actually met him. It was over the phone. I think that the millionaire sent out invitations and he didn't have a specific name in mind. He was just like, pick some random person from the thing, and he gave it to his secretary, and it got intercepted. And then the doctor played the eccentric millionaire and called Nora specifically. And then the doctor was invited by mail, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the pilot was called.
The pilot was called by the millionaire.
Right.
But
none of them have ever seen him before.
Yeah, none of them had ever seen him, and a couple of them had been invited by mail, and a couple of them had been invited by other means. So I think that at some point the correspondence were intercepted by the doctor and the wife, and they invited a couple
I feel
of
like people would say we're thinking too much into this, but this is actually really important to a murder mystery.
Right.
We make the clarity. A haunted film doesn't have to have a lot of clarity.
Yeah.
Because it's all about. It can be contrived because it's about the mystery is the horror element. Mm-hmm. So you can leave out some, but a mystery requires murder, especially a murder requires motive, opportunity. It means motive and opportunity,
right.
And those are very, very important. And opportunity is established when the right people show up. And so how the correct people for the murder mystery show up makes a very important part of that film. Like, you have to have that. And if you don't, and I've seen a lot of films and a lot of books that miss that part, where it's like, it was Steven. And it's like,
how? He
had means, but not motive or opportunity. How? And then they're like, well, because of this motive and opportunity that they shoehorn in at the last second. I was like, no, you can't do that. You have to establish this earlier, because you have to be, it has to be believable. When they point to the person, you have to be like, okay, that makes sense. If the audience can't go, that makes sense, you did not do a good enough job making it clear as to how they had what needed to be there. Yeah. And one of the biggest problems is the setup in the beginning. How are the right people there? Yeah. How is it that the psychiatrist who's cheating on his wife, cheating with his wife, happened to be the one invited?
Yeah.
Well, he knew. That's why. Well, then she wouldn't suspect that he fell right into her plan. Like, hey, I randomly invited this guy that's plotting to kill me. Anything you want to say? Crap, he's on to me. Like, that's a red flag. He invited the guy he needed him to invite out of anyone in the world. Him.
Yeah, like, I think we make it clear that his invitations got intercepted.
Or that she's the one that sent them out.
They both did invites.
Yes.
They just did it together.
You just make it that they do it together. Like, they have a list. Like, he could even say it haphazardly. When they're at the beginning, they're like, oh, how did you choose us and everyone? It's like, we went over a list of people that we knew of or knew, and we picked together.
We picked the most interesting sounding people.
And then you can and then they don't even have to explain who picked who. We can pick it up out of what happened. Well, obviously he picked the pilot because he's like foiling the plan. So he picked a brave person that was going to interrupt, and then the reporter, and then she picked Nora and the psychiatrist. Yeah. And then it's like, boom, that's easy. And then the guy who owns the house is just obvious. Like, Well, I mean, let's pick the guy who owns the place.
Yeah, because he could use the money, and they all needed to. The other thing is they were all tied together because they needed the money.
Well, that also is a thing. She could have. You can even make it that she came up with a list of people that were desperate for money. Like, you make it in their little banter. You just add a couple of lines where she's like, "Oh, yeah, it's like I gave you a list of people that were desperate. I didn't think you told me you wanted me to give you a list. I gave you a list," and then he picked from that list. Like, she gave him a list of like people desperate for money, and she just made it really obvious to choose those two. Like, put Nora and the psychiatrist up at the top of the list or something. So he just picks them, and then maybe picks a couple he thinks are interesting, because he knows it's coming. He knows what she's plotting already.
Yeah,
He can then that way he can pick the one that she wants him to pick, knowing it. Oh, obviously she wants me to pick the accomplice. I better get him here so I can take them both out, and then it works out.
Yeah, but you need to make it kind of obvious that he's the one that's behind inviting everybody, because you're trying to establish the red herring that he's the murderer and he's behind all the things.
That is correct.
So you
which
need
is
to,
why you have
need to
him.
establish that he's somehow more in control of it than the wife is.
That is correct. You have him, but that's part of the problem is they did do that, but then it makes no sense how the wife got the right people there, unless she wasn't expecting him to be there. Or they had this plan and maybe she just hoped that he would.
I'm honestly okay with him just doing it. I think it makes perfect sense. He is eccentric, incredibly intelligent, and I assume he already knew about the affair, so he had to hire.
Oh, it completely makes sense. It just doesn't make sense why she wouldn't see that as a red flag.
Because why would she? Her husband's insane.
Yeah. Okay,
I mean, seriously, he's eccentric.
Well, hubris is a thing
and
too.
She can be
so
invites
confident in her
random
plan.
people, and he just happens to be a random person, and she's just like, that's why she doesn't want to be invited and a part of it, because she's like trying to distance herself. And so she's like, well, this is perfect. As probably more like, this is perfect. He invited my husband, or my husband to be, right? My boyfriend. Now we can kill him. I feel like that's more of what it was, rather than
That's fair.
him hiring her and be like, whoa, why is he hiring my boyfriend? It's, oh, perfect, my boyfriend's here. Now we can kill him. I think that was more of the idea.
That's fair. That's fair.
I really think that there needs to be more of a hand in it to where they get a hold of the correspondence somehow. He gives it to a secretary. They pay off the secretary.
I just don't think we should have to like sit
I don't
here
know,
and like
I just
discover.
Or like the one of the people that he invited isn't who they say they are. Make the doctor not who he says he is.
To be fair, Noah makes a good point. The way I feel about films that are mysterious is you can leave a lot open as long as you can explain it away in a way that makes sense and is acceptable. His explanation makes sense and is acceptable. So even though it took a while to come to that, even though it came a while to come to the conclusion, I can accept that premise. The rope thing, I cannot, because it doesn't make any sense.
That just don't make sense.
So,
We just have to be right. We get rid of the rope thing. We separate the blood and make it so like that's actual hauntings, and because I think the idea of in the very end, when he does the whole mechanical skeletal thing, you do like a flashback and you show all the things that happened that.
I think you do the
He was in
flashback.
control.
I don't like the flashback idea because it's too much like modern films, and I like that mystery of is it or isn't it, and that gives a lot more credence to the.
Yes,
so here.
Go ahead.
Back to the rewrites and stuff. You had the extra like 20 or so minutes. I think you kill off the journalist at the end in a mysterious way.
Like
it's not part of a plan. It's not part of anything because she was marked.
Yeah.
And then you can leave it up to the interpretation of the audience of, did she just, because she's an investigative journalist, did she get too close to the mystery? Did the drunk guy get too insane and kill her off?
That's actually a really good one.
Because he's like wielding the knife
shows
the entire time.
Right, it shows the guy dead, and then everyone's there talking, and then she's not there. And it just like cuts to her like in her room with blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even show the wound or anything, it just shows like her dead with blood. And it's like, wait,
Yeah,
what? And that's how it ends.
And you like zoom out and you have like some of the creepy noises and things like that. And people are like, but the murder weapon is the knife that the guy has been carrying the entire time. So that way people are like, did the guy kill her? Are they?
Is
he
he actually
killed because she's too
is
close?
he just crazy?
Or was she actually marked?
I could get behind that. The way it ended, where he just looks and the camera's like, they're after me next, and then you, just makes him still look somewhat eccentric. It would have been really cool if if it ended, or if even that could still have been the end. Where before that, like he says, yeah, it's me now, and he goes, he's like,
he could just be narrating as that scene is happening.
Yeah, but that's it. Like the eccentric billionaire comes out. He's like, I can decide whether or not I deserve to be tried or whatever. And then he goes like, wait, where's the other one? And then the journalist lady isn't there, and it just shows her. It doesn't even, not even them discovering, just like shows her.
Yeah, just shows her.
Just hold her laying in the body, and then it's him. It's him. He's not down there with them. He's sitting in the room with the knife in his hand with blood on it and going, there's 3 more now. They're after me next. They'll be after you after that. And it's like, holy crap, did he just murder her, or is like, and then it just leaves it like that?
I don't think you have him with the dripping knife or anything like that. I think you literally do a thing where they get to the end of it, maybe the police are there or something like that, and then he's just sitting there like giving his statement. And he's like, there's 3 now. There's 3 more now. They're coming after me next. And then they'll come after you.
Yeah, I don't think he should have any weapons.
Yeah, I don't think you actually give him the murder.
I like him sitting there with the knife.
Yeah, it's a good visual.
Because he's holding the knife
visual
the entire time.
Well, and
he never puts it down. He's always freaking holding it.
Exactly, but that's where the thing comes in, where people are like, oh, yeah, he just snapped and murdered that chick. Or the ghost actually has it, because he doesn't have, like, at the end of it, don't have him have it. And maybe somebody points it out. Maybe somebody's like, what happened to your knife?
He's like holding his hand shaking, and as he's talking, he's looking at his hand. And you're like, wait, where's the knife?
Yeah. And it's in her.
Yeah.
Oh, you leave that. Like, that's leave the knife in the body. The knife is in the body.
Like, you just like have the face, like you zoom in on like the dead face, like, and then it zooms out, and there's just like a knife in her chest.
And it's just like spooky noises, and you're like the lights like flicker or something.
Yeah, the lights like dim.
The more I change this film, the less I like it. I honestly like it so much the way that it is.
It's a good film the way that it is. I'm just trying to think of like some ways that if we had to do it for a modern audience, what are a couple of things we had to do?
Well, if we had to do it for a modern audience, we probably would have to do the flashback and all that stuff, because people need to be told how to do things.
Not necessarily told. I just think it'll differentiate the haunting from the trickery.
Well,
and that's what I want to do.
I don't want to differentiate it. I want it.
Not so differentiate. I want to show like little things that he did.
I want it all to be included. I liked that.
Alright, we're not rewriting the movie. There you go.
I liked that the only thing that stands out is the dripping blood and the rope. That's what ruined it for me.
And the guy getting his face bashed in.
If the rope thing hadn't happened, all the rest of it's fine. Because it's all, is it the ghost? Is it the people? Is the ghost?
Okay, so we're
going
keep going around in circles at this point.
The only unexplained thing at the end of the film is the dripping blood, and you're just like,
we're going in circles
so
now.
I think the couple of things that we add is I actually do agree with DJ here on the flashback thing. I think it's too much of a trope.
No, it's fine.
We don't necessarily want to spoon feed people. Maybe we just show like a control room or something like that when Vincent Price is coming out. Have him come out of the control room. And he knows where it is.
The same closet, where...
Yeah, like he comes out of the same closet or something like that. He doesn't just come out...
And that explains the head hitting, too, because he hit his head on like a contraption in the ceiling. And they had to go in there and...
Or the wife knocked him out, or whatever. Like, you leave it kind of up to interpretation. You want people to feel like, they're kind of smart and they're figuring it out. But the mystery overall is revealed. The twist is revealed. You keep the same twist. You do a couple of different things. Obviously, you update the visuals and the gags and stuff like that. Like, the head actually should look like a severed head.
Yes.
And then you're left wondering, like...
The human head is actually a severed head.
Yeah, because the thing is, they established the fact that there was missing heads in the house. What's-his-face established that. So it's like, there's no reason why they wouldn't have found the severed head and used it to scare Nora. I think that we add the thing in the end where the reporter dies, but I think we make her more of an active character, where instead of it being Nora and Lance kind of doing all the investigating, she kind of takes the lead on investigating stuff, and she's trying to get to the bottom of things.
Yeah, she doesn't. That is a problem with her character, is she doesn't do very much. Yeah. She's just there.
I say we make her an investigative journalist, and Lance is brave, but maybe he's just really out of it for most of it, just because he did take a wallop to the head.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe instead of Lance going around and like finding the trapdoors and stuff like that, it's the investigative journalist, and she's going with Nora because she's trying to calm Nora down. But she's not doing a very good job because she's annoyed with Nora because she thinks that Nora's like a weak,
feeble,
like she's just annoyed with her. Like she gets annoyed. Like,
yeah,
think about it. If you're in a haunted house with somebody who's like Nora, aren't you going to be a little sick of it if you're trying to get to the bottom of things? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, woman!
There's a reason she ended up. I swear, like somebody wanted her on that list because she is the most eccentric person.
Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, so I think we also kind of just established the fact that something happened with the invitations. Maybe the doctor isn't actually who he says he is, and he snuck onto the list, and they had Nora specifically in mind, and they made sure that Nora got an invitation somehow. Maybe all the invitations came in the mail. That's an easy way to kind of establish that somebody was invited by mistake.
I'm with him on the like if we're remaking this for modern audiences, you can do a little bit more spoon feeding if you make it intelligent, but I still like the way they did it here, where it was a little looser.
No, I don't think they need to explain that much because that's part of the mystery part, where it's like it's not supposed to.
To a point, but
it's
it
also
I'm not saying that
we
spoon. I'm not saying we spoon
saying
feed, to be
that
honest.
either.
I'm just saying that all of them received an invitation in the mail.
The same way.
The same way.
But I like.
And we have a throwaway line from Vincent Price's character that, I just gave it to my secretary. Or something like that. You know, where she's like, well, they're your guests. You invited them. I don't know what you're talking about. I just wanted the most interesting crowd. I gave it to my secretary.
That is actually a line I forgot about, kind of those thrown away, that he literally said, I just wanted interesting people. He never actually really clarifies why he picked them. It almost does sound like he literally just randomly threw stuff out there, and the ones in the mail were the two ones that got him in the mail were the ones they wanted.
He explains in the beginning, like each person, and like he explained, like if you go back, like
he's explaining them when he's narrating.
If we go back to the beginning now, after watching the movie, you'll read it, you'll hear it completely different because he's like, she's a girl who's desperate, and she's pretty. She's just a pretty girl, right? She's young. She has a lot of people she has to take care of. This guy, brave, wants to get things done. This lady, she's a reporter.
But she has a gambling problem.
She has a gambling problem. And then this is the doctor, the psychiatrist. He's learning about hysteria.
And he's interested in doing the thing.
Exactly. So it's foreshadowing. That whole scene.
Well, yes, it is. It is foreshadowing.
And the other thing too is like you can make it a thing where the doctor comes along because he hears about the party. You don't have to invite the doctor.
We're inviting the doctor, John.
I'm throwing ideas, man.
You're fine.
Your ideas are wrong.
I just like him because he would know. Obviously he knew. So
the doctor has to be there and Nora has to be there. They have to be specifically established.
But it doesn't necessarily
I think
be
that they're
Nora
all
either.
received their letters
I think
in the
he just
mail.
wanted a young, impressionable girl, and that's why Nora's there. Because it didn't have to be any bunch of specifics so much as just someone young,
naive, and impressionable.
Exactly, that's all he needed. And that's pretty easy to find in a company of, what do you say, like 40,000
And someone that had a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Like the first thing they do to set her up is she wants to leave already, and then they close out earlier. So she's already super uncomfortable.
Exactly.
So yeah, they did a really good job of psyoping her into losing her mind.
Yeah, so I think that there's not too many things that we have to change just because this movie can kind of stand on its own still. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Like the graphics and stuff obviously are really cheesy and stuff like that, but it's from
Honestly not. I was expecting it to be a lot more stiff, and the only special effect that felt super stiff was when the old lady glides across the floor.
Yeah.
And it's not really because it feels like a natural as much as it doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, later when it's established she's like the caretaker, why does she float?
That is correct. And you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah,
like I said, take out her floating, take out the rope thing, and you can have her appear and disappear. Like when she floated in and out in the doorway, that was okay, because that could be like a stiff walk. It's when she was in the room with her, the closet, and she just went gliding across the floor. That was just uncanny and weird and didn't fit the theme of the film.
Yeah.
So take out her gliding all the way across the floor and take out the rope thing, and then the movie stands pretty solid for what it was.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, if we're remaking it, we just update a little bit of the scaring things, make things, and with modern tech too, you could do a lot more with like the visuals and stuff in a way that makes them less jarring.
Yeah.
And a little smoother, and that would be something that I would do. Is just some of the jarring scenes could be smoothed out.
Yeah, and then I think we also have the mystery at the end where people are like, could it be haunting? Did the guy snap? Did she get murdered because she got too close? I think that if you add that, that's enough of a hook too to get people to be like, oh, that's actually like get you thinking at the end.
Well, I got enough for a summary then.
All right, awesome. Before we do the summary, what are you guys going to name the movie as it is?
You have to do it again. I was on my phone. I'm sorry.
Okay. What are you? Okay, so before we do the summary, as the movie is right now, what is a more appropriate title, do you think, for The House on Haunted Hill? We'll go with DJ first.
I was gonna say Murder at the House on Haunted Hill, but that kind of throws out the whole mystery thing. That's what it is. It's murder mystery at Haunted Hill, or the murder mystery at the House on Haunted Hill, because even at the very beginning, it feels way more murder mystery than it does haunting. It feels like a murder mystery, the setup and everything from the beginning. So I kind of give it a straighter title, because House on Haunted Hill makes it sound like horror, and it's not really.
Okay, so what was the title you gave?
Murder at the House on Haunted Hill.
Okay. No.
Eccentric billionaire extravaganza.
Eccentric billionaire extravaganza.
Want to go with?
I guess it's millionaire. So
We'll go with Playboy slays wife with acid pit bones. Acid pit skeleton.
Just gonna throw it out there, okay?
Just the best line in the whole movie, in my opinion, is literally Playboy slays wife with champagne cork.
That's what the movie should be called: as Playboy slays wife with champagne cork.
Oh my gosh!
And it's like a newspaper cover is like the title screen.
Oh.
But yeah, Playboy slays wife with acid pit skeleton.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, DJ. What is our wrap up for the plot?
For this one, we have two. We have As It Is and as a modern remake. And the reason we did this is because it is so old that it's a little harder to clean up in a way that would be done for the time. It doesn't need much, but if we were to remake it, we'd do a lot more. So for our fixing of the original film as it stands, is we really agreed that it mostly stands solid, except for it has a few times where it doesn't clear up the difference between the murder and the mystery part of the haunting. So for us, we would remove the rope scene where the rope swirls up around the girl, because that's hard to explain how they pulled that off. And then we'd remove the old lady shifting across the floor, because it doesn't really fit with who she actually is as a character. And then the rest can pretty much stand as it is. Maybe just be a little clearer about who was getting hurt when, and be a little less jarring on some of the scenes, but otherwise it stands pretty solid. If we were to remake this sucker for modern audiences, because they're dumb, we discussed that we were still, one of the things we all really like about this movie that we all agreed about is that it is not very spoon-fed. So for a newer movie, we'd still want to keep that theme. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, the only things we would clarify is a little bit of how the back and forth was of how they were invited. Add that to dialogue with husband and wife, because it'd be kind of fun as well just to add that in there. We'd pump up the visuals, clean up the jarring scenes, really just give it a makeover, is what we've all discussed. Is this movie would be really fun if it was modern tech, modern cinematography, the ability to make the scenes shift smoothly, the house feel more alive, the cinematography and the special effects of like the chandelier falling, the shaky cam would be a lot cleaner today, and that alone, we would really want to pump those up. And then we decided that for the end of the film was where we make the largest difference. At the end of the film, after everything is wrapped up, we have the
Investigative reporter.
Yes, the investigative reporter actually dies at the end, and it's not clear as to how. And I did miss. We want the investigative reporter to have a larger role in the film. We all agreed. For the one at the time, it's fine. It's short, but we would extend it a bit and have the investigative reporter be leading the investigation rather than the pilot. And the pilot could still be much of what he was in this one. He's helping the girl, bouncing around, a little confused because he hit his head. But give her a larger role, and that also makes her death at the end more shocking and more stunning. Otherwise, we'd really leave this alone. It stands up even how many years later?
Oh, it came out in 59, so we're talking 64 years ago.
Yeah, it holds up. I was surprised.
Yeah. I think of all the movies we've seen so far, this is the most memorable.
This is the best movie.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it was really good. And a lot of old films like this, things like War of the Worlds and
That's
stuff like
not
that.
true though. There was one better we watched. Last Airbender.
Oh gosh, don't. No.
That's my favorite person.
Old wounds are opening. I'm gonna vomit.
Producer slays director with corkscrew.
Oh, that's a much better heading.
Gosh.
Not corkscrew, slays director with themed water bottle.
I
Trying to
really like
defend. My water ball is not nearly as cool. I fail.
So many movies I've seen that are this old usually don't hold up as well because the special effects for things date and they show. It's like watching old
Well, they
CGI.
just it's smart because they kept it simple. They kept a small set. They showed the house, lightning.
Even the skeleton is stiff and stuff, but it showed he's being controlled.
Yeah.
So it even gives a good reason for it. He's got it on wires. We can see the wires.
Like that's actually like the really cool thing about this film is literally the stuff that's like really cheesy that we're just like, oh my gosh, it's like such a cheese fest gets explained almost immediately to where you're like, well, no wonder the skeleton's super stiff and he's literally just like hopping around like he's on strings. He's literally on strings.
Yeah.
You know,
They
like,
played into it. I feel like this movie was like, we don't have the ability to
And they
make this
explained-
seem real, so let's just lean into it.
Well, explains why these guys like suicide. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. And he's like, but he knew it wasn't suicide. He just wanted to say that to confuse everybody. And then later on, he's like, yeah, we all know it's a murder. Like, let's be honest. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's a murder. We're gonna die. But they like, he leaves Nora in her room the whole time. He leaves her to her own devices as well, which is interesting.
no, it's actually a very clever film, and the other thing too is just the fact that they did it all on $200,000 is something that, for a $200,000 movie, $2 million movie nowadays, that's just incredible. Like if you think about it,
Even
most
if it's
movies
one
nowadays
house.
are like $50 million at the lowest.
I think even that one where the entire room with the paranormal activity that was like literally shot in a bedroom was more expensive than that.
Yeah.
Like the whole film happens in a bedroom and like the kitchen. Like it's in one house and it's one area. And that
Special effects.
I'm pretty sure that one was even more expensive than that.
Yeah, it's just incredible. But the other thing is that, sorry,
You're good.
not to really interrupt you, but I really think that House on Haunted Hill is one of those films that we don't really give it as much credit as we should, because films like House on Haunted Hill, yeah, they're kind of gimmicky. That was kind of the whole point of the producer's vision. He did a lot of gimmicks and things like that, but at the same time, he made a fun, interesting movie that got people into the theaters. It was definitely a success. And the other thing is that films like House on Haunted Hill actually inspired directors like Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock went and saw House on Haunted Hill and decided, I can make a low budget horror movie using TV cameras and stuff like that and have it be kind of more like a murder mystery kind of thriller. And as a result, we wouldn't have Psycho probably if House on Haunted Hill had not been such a success.
Mm-hmm.
So I think films like this should be watched and should be treasured for what they are.
Inspirational.
I mean, you can even say, people say films like A Birth of a Nation, which is like a really bad piece of racial propaganda, has I think it's like a 100 on Rotten Tomatoes because of the cinematography. Like a lot of the things in that film established an industry, and it's well shot. That's part of the reason that it inspired people to believe in its message, even though it was complete BS, is because it was so inspiring in the way it was filmed. And it was one of the things that proved that the way a movie is filmed affects people as much as the content. And this film is a good example of that. The way they do the angles, they shoot out to the house at the opportune times to set the mood to set the mood and the tone. Reminds you where they are. And it goes out and then back inside and out and back inside. There's these great moments where it's the cinematography is flitching between scenes that are actually really well done. The only reason it feels choppy is because it was done on film and they literally had to physically cut it to make it work. Modern cinematography makes transitions like that smoother because editing is smoother, and you can overlap and you can do these things with film you couldn't do then without immense amount of cost. And so it's just an inspiring thing that for so little of what it is, it's an entire film that takes place in a single house with little set, but all the set piecing is in the way they present it, and it's really well done. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it a lot too. It's a good film. Definitely worth it.
All right, so how do we curb stop it? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think we can actually curb stop it at all.
No, we can't.
Calm down. We're actually still
I know, we're making great time.
relatively ahead of schedule.
But there's
It is a
nothing
short
else to
film.
say, that's why I'm like,
Yeah,
we're going to keep on rambling.
Well,
or circling, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like it's kind of a relief because we watched so many bad films so far that it's really a relief to have like a good film.
It's nice
to where we
talk
can
about.
kind of let it like air out and we can just kind of talk about how great this film is. Like, it really is.
It'll make it better though if Brendan Fraser was in it.
Brendan Fraser was in it.
And he was like,
If Brendan Fraser was in it and it was directed by M. Night Shyamalan, it would be so much better.
But M. Night Shyamalan made this movie.
Sonic monsters in there.
We're really done. So, but before we wrap up, just for a couple minutes, how would you destroy this film? Just a curiosity, like how could you ruin this? And my first thought was, you have it directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
That's it.
And that's it. Yeah.
And just watch the horror unfold.
The twist is the acid jumps out and kills her.
It just jumps out and eats him instead.
Yeah.
He like shoots and was like, haha, those were blanks. And someone else the actor's line.
We're gonna get angry letters from M. Night Shyamalan himself, not his fans. Him. Please, I do my best. I don't care what
your best is not
It's my storytelling accent. I don't make terrible films that are overrated and I think I'm better than everyone. I am better than everyone.
It's not about thinking it's the truth and you filthy maggots.
I just wanted to say, as on final marks, is that this thing was on a razor's edge and it was really well done. It literally could have taken so little to burn this film, and the way they played the line was well done. So I'm just...
Yeah, I really like the fact
Unlike
that
most-
he made it as a gimmick and he made it as a B movie. It isn't a movie that lies about what it is. It leans into what it is, and it exemplifies what's great about those tropes and things.
And unlike most movies where everyone who shouldn't be carrying is carrying the exposition-sicle, they explain things perfectly at the right times. Like when they actually explained it, but they explained it at the right times. Like with the rubber skeleton, it's like, okay, cool. And then it's just you'd be like confused, and then boom, they explain it.
They
boom.
handle the
And it's
exposition.
not like some random guy shows up and says, the
We don't have
werewolves can
expositions.
kill the.
We don't have an exposition sickle.
Yeah.
Dracula is a cult of
It's
the
not like
werewolf.
some guy wakes up and looks at a mural and goes, hey look, werewolves can kill vampires. And then he goes back to, having the time of his life.
Or the collective hive mind where they all have knowledge for some reason. The only person in this movie that does any exposition is the drunk, crazy
Which is
person.
fine,
Which makes
because
sense. Like,
he
he's
knows.
Sean
I'm
Randall.
gonna
knows
cut the
everything about this
exposition
house.
sickle into every piece we do now. This video, right here, it's gonna be an exposition sickle, just like.
It just We'll edit it into like whoever's doing it. He's just holding the exposition sickle, and like the video, it's just the Frankenstein's monster just holding it. And he's like, "Oh, the cure's in the other room," and he's just holding it. And you're like, or it's like on his head because he's just in the ice cube. It's just sticking out of his head, and it's just exposition sickle.
All right,
if you problem, my story is not moving fast enough, and I think my audience is stupid. Solution: expositional hive mind.
They just split the expositional thing apart and just throws it at the other guy.
Just throwing ice cubes. Eat some of my exposition!
This will help the audience know! I mean, we can explain it properly, but screw that, man! Exposition! When you have an exposition hive mind! Expositional hive mind!
Alright, John, take us away.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm having fun.
Me too.
This thing is not about fun, John. This is about seriousness. This is about seriousness, perfection, punctuality, and Karen.
This is a really good contrast to specifically Van Helsing, because it's like it's a dark theme film
perfectly.
It makes it hurt so much more seeing it done right. How badly they dropped. That was my point when I said that they skirted the edge. They dropped the exposition like a little too much sooner, a little too much later, and the movie would have fallen apart. It was so. I'm watching this thing on the edge of my seat at some moments, not because of the action. Like, dude, this movie is so close to falling apart, and it is not, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that was House on Haunted Hill. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments some things that maybe you really enjoyed about this movie, some things you hated about this movie, things that you liked about our ideas, things you didn't like. Just let us know. Also, let us know what type of films and stuff you guys want us to do more reviews on. They can be decent movies, but we suffer
try.
For you and for your entertainment. As always, like, comment, subscribe. And the fans of the haunted house have gained 2 more. I'm next. And then they'll come for you. See you guys in the next video.